Now the other question comes, am I enjoying what I'm doing? The answer is no. The answer is no. You should not enjoy whatever you're doing. We do not level WoW because we enjoy WoW. We do not grind Naxxramas because we enjoy the grind. They have failed to realize where their actual talent is. They have mixed up between joy and talent. And that is the defining point that makes the difference. You gotta grab, they don't, you win, they lose, you know, but the winning has to continue. It should not stop. Guys, this is something that you gotta know, and this is something that I really want to talk about. Sometimes you get the question, is this really me? Especially when you put yourselves in new situations, when you're exposed to new situations in life, when you go to new places, when you are with new people, when you do a transition in your life from one stage to another. You always ask yourself the question, is this myself or is it not myself? Am I true to myself or am I faking? Am I a phony? Am I a fake phony who's doing something in complete contradiction to my inner convictions? Or am I somebody who's true to myself, true to my convictions, true to my standards? Who am I? And why is this question always coming up again in my fucking life, guys? Why is this question coming up to my life when I'm fucking 30 years old? This question is a teenage question. It is a question that comes in early teenagehood and early adulthood. It should not come to you if you're 30. If this question comes to you if you're fucking 30 years old, this means what? It's an obsession. It means now we have transitioned from an existential philosophical question that has a serious, that is serious, to a question that is stemming from an obsession. And there's a big difference between the two. Obsessions, ladies and gentlemen, are intrusive thoughts. They come to your head, they impose themselves on your head, and you cannot get them out of your head, and they bother you, they annoy you. You don't like these thoughts. Whereas an actual question, an existential question, is a question that you really want an answer for, and once you have the answer for, you move on. But if this question repeats itself, and you start acting on that obsession or that fear by doing things that are contradictory to your progression and not in your best benefit, whether this benefit is for your mental health or your financial health or for any other thing, you know that these are obsessions. So guys, you got to be very, very aware of yourself. You have to gain the insight of understanding when you have obsessional thoughts that come and arise from fears, and when you have actual worries that are answered with a specific question, and then you move on. The worry comes back again. Now we have a problem. Now we're talking about obsessions. Now we're talking about a psychiatric symptom. Do not let these psychiatric symptoms take over. Do not mix the poison of obsessive and intrusive thoughts, which seem as real thoughts and actual thoughts that you think about, but are actually poison in your mind because they're not. No matter how many times you reply against them, no matter how many times you take measures, they always come back in different forms. They come from a fear, a core fear. And that fear turns into a worry. And that worry turns into an obsession. And you try to block that obsession, you try to oppose it. How? By starting to do things that are just not normal because you try to block that obsession. In this case, it's an identity obsession because that seems to be the biggest fear or one of the biggest worries and fears that a person is going through in that particular moment. Who am I? Is this really who I am? Do I feel good about this? Am I enjoying this? Well, truth to this question, and just to answer this in a very, we'll take this answer in two different kinds. We'll take the real answer, and we'll take the answer that goes into the obsessional thoughts. But the real answer, the practical answer, the one that you hear once and then you move on, is that yes, this is not yourself, and you're not true to yourself, and it is an evolving phase of different personalities and different characteristics that may not always represent what's inside of you. It is called flexibility, adaptability, and behaving appropriately according to the situation. It's a big difference, guys. It's a big difference. So, yes, in school, I'm different than at home. In school, I behave. I act like a good boy. When I'm with my friends, I have my freedom. I can say and do things that I usually don't say at school, because I know that school, for example, is governed by consequences. I know that work, if I'm with my workmates, I will not share my convictions with workmates because they're not friends, they're workmates. So I am now shifting my personality depending on what situation I am in. And this is a very important behavior that distinguishes people with the capacity to be flexible, adjustable, to people who lack this capacity. Do not see it as a trait of strength. Do not confuse the inability to adapt with strength. There's a big difference between the two. Never mix those two. Never mix those two. That is the biggest mistake that you can do. Adaptability is something, strength is something else. Strength is not the lack of capacity of adaptability. That is not strength. That is an inherent lack of a specific trait that you don't have, that you have not trained for some reason. You don't own that trait. You didn't acquire it. For some reason, you have not acquired this trait, and hence you lack adaptability. You lack the capacity to adapt and change your personality based on the situation for whatever reason. And in this case, it's the reason, which is the obsessional fear, which is, oh, this is not true to myself, hence I should not change myself. The obsessional fear is destroying your capacity to be adaptable. Now the other question comes, am I enjoying what I'm doing? The answer is no. The answer is no. You should not enjoy whatever you're doing. We do not level WoW because we enjoy WoW. We do not grind Naxxramas because we enjoy the grind. The game is 15 years old and the mechanics suck and it's boring. Let's just be real about this. It's boring. But we still do it, guys. We still do it because we have to. We know that the reward that we get is going to cover all the hardship that we invested in this. I did not grind for rank 14 because I enjoyed every moment of the rank. No, I do not go to the gym because I actually enjoy it on every single day. There are many days in which I don't enjoy going to the gym, but I still go to the gym. It's a grind. You do not do the grind because you enjoy it. You do not choose. Don't get this wrong, guys. Some people have tried to mix up our thoughts and said, oh, you have to find a career, something that you enjoy doing, you have to go to enjoy doing your career so this doesn't become a strenuous job and it rather becomes something that you like doing. Guys, fuck that. It's hippie talk. Let's be real, guys. This is hippie talk. Let's have a strong man-to-man discussion. Sometimes you have to do something that you're good at, even if you don't like it, but you're good at it, and it's the one way how to make a living. So you're a man, you do it. You're a fucking man, so you do it, you're good at it, you excel at it, and people want you to do it, that's why you do it. Because you have a living out of it, you can make money out of it. Your value is surrounded by this. It happens to be that your magic is within this field. No, you will not enjoy it every single day. You will not have fun doing it every single day. And let me tell you something. Even the biggest people who stream, who make millions and tens of thousands of US dollars per stream, have huge and face huge difficulties in logging on every single day and streaming every single day, and even they slack. Why? Because despite the financial reward, they still feel the burden. It is a burden, it is a job, and it is a responsibility to yourself to utilize what you're good at to make your life correct. If you're going to waste your time in your life looking for something that you really enjoy, oh, I like arts, I'm going to be an artist, oh, I'm going to be a singer, oh, there's so many people who did that, guys. There's so many people who have done that. They have failed to realize where their actual talent is. They have mixed up between joy and talent. Don't mix up. Do not mix up between joy and talent. I might enjoy gaming, but I'm not a talented esports player. I will not commit myself to this. But I'm good at another field. I don't enjoy that field, but I'm going to do it because I'm good at it and people need me in that field. And that's the only way, or one of the only ways, how I can make a living. Now, if you actually enjoy what you're good at, fine. Fine, that's good. But that's not always the case, and it's certainly not the basis on which you should make decisions. This is part of being a man. Part of being a man is to do something that you don't like doing, but you know you're good at it, and you know that you're successful in what you're doing, and you're better than 90% of other people who attempt doing this. Just go take a look at Twitch. Take a look at the streams, the sub 5 viewer streams. You got millions, and not just guys who stream. Wow, you got females who expose themselves for viewership, and they're still below 5 viewers. Because there's not the grab. The grab does not exist. The grab that gets the viewer does not exist. You have that. You have the grab. You are able to grab over 100 viewers per stream. This is a solid foundation that speaks enough. Do not let that go to waste by intrusive thoughts. Is that my real self? I'm not being true to myself. Oh, who cares? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The only person who gives a shit is yourself. But everybody else does not give a shit about this. And if you're the only person who gives a shit about this, then you're the only person who's stopping yourself from moving in this path. Now let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. Why is it that many, or that some, or few, why is it that few very, very successful streamers in the same industry, in the same field, do have the capacity to restrict themselves from saying what's on their mind, even though they feel it, even though they have a strong sense of righteousness, even though they're very upfront people who are used to being upfront in their life and speaking out their minds? Why do they stop doing that when they log on to stream and keep that for themselves? Are they cowards? Are they slaves to money? Or are they people who are strong because they know when to say something and when not to say something, because they have a bigger picture in mind and a bigger purpose and something that benefits them more by doing that, by being adaptable? Right? So these people, they have the same foundations, they have the same feelings and the strong urges to say, fuck you, Blizzard, for doing this, but they don't. They don't. Even though they're very righteous people and they have been in positions in their life in which they have proven that they're upfront and righteous and strong-willed, but they know that they don't say this, not because they're cowards, not because they're weak, but because they have a bigger picture in mind. It's very simple. The money is flowing here. I'm good at this job. I gotta do it, even though I don't really like it, but this is what I'm good at. So I do it for the money. I need to make a living, and I have the chance to make a very good living, and I'm gonna strive for that, even if that means that, yes, I have to be political. So let's not confuse weakness with being political. Let's not confuse the lack of being adaptable with strength. These are very different definitions that should not be mixed. Should be very well differentiated. They should be very well differentiated. Now that we've addressed some issues and we've spoken about them aggressively, I would like to bring the tone back down, and I would like to re-establish harmony in this conversation. But because this conversation is something very dear to me, I was very excited when I spoke about this. Now that we've differentiated between obsessional thoughts and actual worries, we know the difference is worries you can answer with a question, you move on. Obsessional thoughts you can answer with a million answers and they still remain because they are obsessional fears and you try to resist them. They don't make sense. Here comes the question. When I spoke about other streamers, and I spoke about something bigger that they're trying to do. Here's a plan. Here's a plan, right? Think about it this way: you need many, many honest people in a certain industry to make a good difference. If these honest people refuse to get their hands dirty because it contradicts their own personality and their own, this is not myself, etc., etc., you will have less of these good people who do what is necessary to actually make a difference. So if you have this person who's doing it, he doesn't like it, but he's doing it. That person, he doesn't like it, but he's doing it. That person, he doesn't like it, but everybody's doing it, even though they don't like it, and they have the core foundation of being strong-willed and having good foundations in their ideas. These people together they build a force. They build a conglomerate force of people who share the ideals and have huge financial capacities. Streamer A, B, C, D, they have huge financial capacities as successful people who are in the business, and they share the values. They don't like a certain thing that a company's doing. Now, when they all get together in a certain point in 5 or 10 years, they become so big that no platform can control them. No platform can stop them. No platform can tell them, don't say this or don't do that, or don't criticize this and don't criticize that. You see? That's when a big difference can happen. So keep your focus on that. Keep your goal to that. Be part of that group when it happens. Don't miss out. Don't be the guy who misses out from that privilege because you don't want to get your hands dirty right now. Don't get your hands dirty right now. Stain your soul. Stain your soul and do a pact with the devil. That's fine, because the true inside is never going to get corrupted. Know this. Nobody's going to get corrupted. If you're pure from the inside, there's no corruption that will happen. You got to be corrupt since a kid to be a corrupt person. But if you're not corrupt since childhood, you will never be corrupted. So don't worry about that. But get your soul dirty so you can achieve the bigger good purpose later on. We need this. We're viewers, we're consumers, we consume this. We need people like you in this industry who shake things up when they reach that point. Not now. Not now. It takes time, it needs patience, it needs adaptability, it needs doing things that you don't like doing on a consistent basis, just like a grind, in order to be able to pull off these kind of moves in the future. Final point that I would like to address, ladies and gentlemen, is something about personalities. Final point, final remarks about this. You have by nature rebellious personalities, people who are always in the rebellion. They always lead the opposition. They always rebel against the cause, whatever that cause is. And they will always find causes to rebel against. It's just their nature. It's just in their personality. And there are people who are not like that. People who always go with the flow. They always... they're very agreeable. They go with the flow. They're not opposition people. They always support whoever they support, right? So it's, that you're an opposition leader. You know that you like to oppose everything. That is good. That means it's a critical mind. And critical minds are good. They're sharp. They're sharp and they have good insights. But when it becomes opposition for the sake of opposition, detrimental to your own health, detrimental to your own success and own financial gain, then what's the point? You ask yourself, what's the point at this point? Is it just to try to stay true to some morals and standards? Or what the hell am I doing, So that's the question. You need to differentiate these questions, opposition for the sake of opposition, or opposition because it's actually worth it. I oppose things, for example, at work. I would oppose things that are happening at work if I can achieve a change, if I know the strategy, if I have a strategy to actually achieve change. I got a game plan. But if I don't have a game plan and things are beyond my control, here we have a problem. Because if I start opposing and there's no game plan, what exactly am I doing, right? Am I just confirming my stance to other people? Who cares? Nobody cares about my stance. People care if I can actually do something about it. And in this case, I can't do anything about it. Hence, they don't care about my stance. So we have to always know where we stand. It is not contradictory to confidence. It is not contradictory to being a person who has a good degree of self-value. No, absolutely not. But you have to understand the social equation, the dynamic that plays a game here, So either you have a game plan. If you have a game plan, fine. If there's no game plan, then what the hell are you doing? Why do you oppose for the sake of opposition? It doesn't make any sense, And always remember, it's never going to corrupt the soul. It's never going to stain the soul or the personality. It's never going to make you look any bad or any weaker. Don't worry about the trolls. Don't worry about the people who like to use these contradictions in behavior to point back at you. Don't worry about them. Nobody of them has 100 viewers when they open up stream, and that is the defining point that makes the difference. You gotta grab, they don't, you win, they lose, but the winning has to continue. It should not stop.